I was just thinking about like, because people often ask me, how do you do, as I do relaxation with the children.
Mm,
A lot of my colleagues do that as part of their practice, and I don't know what they do necessarily. I know a lot of people do kind of like guided meditations,
hmm
and I think those have their place for sure, but I also want to provide an opportunity for children to not keep hearing someone else's voice. So, one of the things that I do is at the end of our class, I invite them to lie down, like all the way, lie down
hmm
on the floor.
Yeah.
And at first, that's for some of them, like, really, you're gonna let us do that? But they soon get quite used to it.
Yeah.
And I tell them that there's no place to go and there's nothing to do. They can just breathe. And I want them to try to be so quiet that they can hear their heartbeat. And then I try to be really quiet because I want to give them a moment to do that.
Mm.
And it's not very long.
I
And then
was
I
just about to
ask
ask how
them
long.
seconds, really, honestly, especially for little ones. Um, and I have introduced something, especially with the littler children, where I'll offer them. Um, I have a whole bin of weighted animals, little like
hmm
stuffed animals, but they have a weight to them.
Yeah.
And I invite them to hold it, to kind of give them a, say you
Like
could
on
put
top
it,
of them, like a
yeah,
weight,
you put
right?
it on your belly, you could put it on your
Ah,
chest, but you could also
yes.
just hug it.
Yeah.
And whatever you're thinking, you can tell the animal.
hmm
Then
Mm.
if you want to tell me or the class, I give kids a moment to do that if they want. And the other day, actually, it was funny. I said that at the end of the class, and nobody wanted to share. And I thought, perfect. That's great.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to say. They're keeping it for themselves. That's great. And I don't do that every time, but that is a practice. And then, I tell them like that the animal is a way for them to like share their kindness, because a lot of times they take the animal, they want to throw it and they twist it around and do all kinds of
hmm
stuff with it.
hmm
No, we're not going to do that with these animals. We're gonna be hug them, we're going to talk to them, maybe we rock them. I did a whole thing with them where they created little like hammocks with scarves, and they
Ah,
just want to keep
sway,
doing it. Yeah, and they swayed the animals, and then they would do it together. They would together, and then
sway
they would put
both.
3 or 4 of them in, and can you go slower? Can you
Mm.
rock them and take them to another place in the room? And then I have some beautiful pictures of them, like all the animals lying on the floor under a blanket where they were like put them all to rest, and so they're teaching them what they need to teach themselves also. So that's my best example. I don't know.
That's wonderful, but that's so touching. Yeah.
It's sweet. Yeah. I
Yeah.
know I had one teacher say when I started bringing the animals out, she said, "Oh, they're never going to give them back to you." I said, "Oh, yeah, they will. They'll give them back. Don't worry." Of course they do. Because also they know like if you don't give it back, it won't be there when you come back next time, you
Right?
know? And if this time you got the bear and you really wanted the frog, well, next time the frog will be here. So
If you give it back the bear,
if you give
then
it back, if you put it
yeah.
back, yeah.
So
And I
I
also ask
also
to
hear,
thank them, like say thank you,
yeah.
put it in the bin.
And it also allows for a world where there is a support for them,
Yeah. Yeah, they're
even
not
though if
cast
they,
out.
yeah, even though if they don't experience support in their other systems, in their families or whatever,
Mm.
it's a beautiful way of showing that there is a support somewhere that is resourcing that's supportive for you and listening.
Yeah.
So important. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it sounds like you do also a lot of repetition. So they like it becomes a ritual sometimes, a
I
little
try to
bit.
have some rituals, yeah, especially with how things begin and how they end.
Yeah.
In the like in the meat of the sandwich, it's going to change, but the way
Yeah.
we start and the way we end is pretty similar.
Is
And
it?
when I change it, a lot of times kids will notice, hey, aren't we going to do that thing? And I was like, oh yeah, well today we won't, but we'll come back to it. I
Yeah.
don't want them to get too like,
Fixed on it either, but
yeah, kids also thrive on like, what am I thinking? Like the novel,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Well, on one hand, I think a little bit of the structure, so they sometimes they can lean into something,
Mhm.
and then the novel to keep on.
Yeah, it's like, whoop, oh hey,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
wake
exactly.
up.
To keep on growing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.